views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Shirt, too sexy for my shirt, so sexy it hurts. And I'm too sexy for Milan, too sexy for Milan, New York and Japan.
Welcome back this week, everybody, to Doing It with Styles. As always, we appreciate your support here for the show and for our TV station, WWDB-TV, and we got some exciting news. We are going to be having a Roku channel real quick. I'll keep you updated on that. Today's show is going to be a little bit different because it's not something that I'm used to dealing with on a regular basis. Today my guest is Judith August, who is the owner,
yes,
the creator,
yes,
and the soul behind Judith August Cosmetics.
You said that so beautifully.
Well, thank you.
I love that.
Thank you.
The soul behind. I love that.
Well,
because it's
isn't that true?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
Absolutely.
You've been. How long has Judith August Cosmetics been in business?
With my own company under Judith August Cosmetics, it has been 35 years.
Wow.
35 years, yes. And prior to that, I was with other startup companies.
In the cosmetic business?
In the cosmetic
Okay.
area, yeah. Training director, product development, and all kinds of different things. But 35 years ago, I created an item that just took off. And then I never did anything else after that except run a business.
What brought you to, I'm going to create this, or first, what is the product? What is it that you created?
Well, it's really very interesting. I had done a lot of things. I was doing a lot of things at the time, as I say, working with other companies in product development and marketing and training their people, et cetera, et cetera. And this was after a very long career as a model, and then I was the protege of a woman called Aida Gray, who was the guru of Beverly Hills in the cosmetic industry.
Wow.
So I was just doing a lot of things for her at the time, but one of the things that I was doing, and representing her cosmetics.
Right.
So I was a trainer for major, I would go into corporations and teach the image thing,
right.
How they should look.
And now, when you say a trainer, do you mean that you trained people how to present the product, or
no, how to present themselves?
Okay, so you were, in other words, you are going to represent this company. This is how you should act.
Right, and
okay.
This is how you should look. But I always, like for instance, a major airline was one of my clients
Gotcha.
for about 10 years, and I would train their flight attendants in appearance.
Gotcha.
And the makeup had to be perfect,
right.
because these women basically were wearing a uniform, which
right.
didn't give them their own personality. They had to only say it on how they looked, their face, their manner, their personality.
Right.
But the uniform was the image of the company, and they had to present that to the best of their ability.
Well, I've flown a lot over the years, and I have to say, good job.
Well, yeah, it's changed, though. It's changed a lot. But at
Yes,
any rate, so I was using Aida Gray's cosmetics as I was doing all this training and lecturing and that sort of thing. One of the other things that I was doing is I worked with plastic surgeons.
Oh, wow.
In LA, Beverly Hills area. And I was called in after the surgery so I could show them how to cover up whatever bruising they had, how to create a new look, because they had a new look. And again, I was using all of Aida Gray's products. I didn't have anything under my own name. And
right.
I wasn't even looking for anything under my own name at the time.
Right.
So I walked into a beauty supply in Beverly Hills one day, and I saw a pencil, a concealer pencil. And that's what I was doing. I was concealing things. But it didn't have any name on it. Nobody was marketing it. It just said made in Germany. So I bought a whole bunch of them, and I took them to the doctor's offices, and I started using them on their patients. And the doctors would come to me and say, you know, that's a great little item. I'd love to buy them from you and give them to my patients after surgery. So then the patients would use it. They'd go home. They would recover from their
Right.
surgery. And then they would call me and say, I want more. I want more.
Nice.
So I thought, aha.
It's the aha
That
moment.
it was
Those
the
are-
it was
yeah.
the aha moment.
Yep.
It really was. And so I created my own formula with input from the surgeons. I found a pencil company who made cosmetic pencils.
Right, eyebrow pencils and things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the extent that I know about it.
that's what you know. Well, I think that's a good.
Okay.
And at any rate, so I created a pencil, and then a friend of mine said, well, what are you going to call it? And I said, well, I don't know. And she said, well, what does it do? And I said, well, it does everything. It absolutely covers up everything. So it became the Everything Pencil.
Oh, wow.
And that was the beginning of a 35-year continual business.
Wow.
With that one little product that I started with. So it was kind of magical. It was the first concealer pencil under a brand.
Right.
And the brand was Judith August Cosmetics, the Everything Pencil.
So,
So there we started.
when at that particular time, did you envision what it's turned into today?
Not
and
at
what
all.
it's become?
You know, it's really funny. There was a wonderful article that Joan Peck wrote, who's
Right.
a local writer
I
here.
know Joan.
You know Joan.
Yes.
And she's
Love your books, Joan.
Yeah, me too. And Joan writes for a magazine called Chic Compass.
Mm-hmm.
And she did this wonderful article, and she said, the serendipitous life of Judith August. You know, I mean, and that's exactly,
awesome, yeah.
I mean, I never, it happened. It fell into my lap. My head said, aha, I had
This
the
is a
aha
thing,
moment.
right?
And then Allure magazine featured it as editor's choice, which is a big deal in their magazine. And
Yeah.
mind you, this was 1986.
Well, and I'm familiar with the magazine because my ex-wife used to buy it all the time.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I at least know what it is.
Right. Right. Well, it was the biggest beauty magazine
Right.
of the time.
Yeah.
Still is, probably, whatever's left anyway.
Right.
And at any rate, but it just happened. It just was like Topsy. And the magazine put the article in, the phone started ringing. I had to scramble and get more product, and I had to hire somebody to help me, you know, fill Kim's little tube with the
Right.
pencil sharpener, and we were, you know, packing and shipping and thising and thatting, and you know, who knew?
So,
But little by little, it just took on an energy of its own.
what was your next product after the pencil? What did you come up with after that?
Oh, really? See, you do know the cosmetic industry.
Well,
You always got to have a follow-up, right?
Yeah.
Well, the next product actually was an antiseptic pencil for blemishes. For men love it.
I was going to say, because I've used that after I've cut myself shaving.
Yeah. They used to call, well, they do have the septic sticks.
Right.
Remember, do they still have those? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because you don't shave anymore. See, I can tell with all
Yeah,
that
well,
beard.
well I do shave about once a week, but I have an electric razor, so
Okay.
because I was just about cutting my throat all the time. No.
Well, the Erase Zit actually was developed for teenagers, for blemishes, acne, that sort of thing, because it covers, and yet it has antiseptic qualities
Right,
in
nice.
it. But then men loved it, and that was fine. So then I said, well, I have these pencils, but you know, I need something that is really, really like a killer cover. Something that's really, you know, if you've got tattoos, if
Right.
you have bruises, birthmarks, even working with the surgeons, sometimes they bruise very badly. Not always, but sometimes. So the pencil was for small little
Right.
bruises and, little things and capillaries, what have you. But I needed a killer cover. That's what I said. I needed a killer cover. And then I had another aha moment. Aha! And killer cover became a product.
That's awesome. And I've seen on your website you have a little training video on the killer cover.
Yes.
And where you're covering a tattoo.
Right.
Blew me away. I mean, I was really surprised because I did not realize that that you could cover a tattoo with makeup.
Oh, yeah.
And so that could be. I mean, I can see where men would use the product as well as women.
Oh, yes.
So that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice job there.
Well, I mean, I love the name. Everybody loves the name. My sister said, there's no way you can sell something called killer cover in the cosmetic industry. I said, watch. And so as far as our popularity of the products, those two products, or three products, are like neck and neck
Right.
in our company. But everybody's got something to hide. Everybody. I don't care. I mean, I worked once, I'll never forget, a mother brought a little girl to see me who had fallen, and she scraped her knee, and it was all red, and, and I can't go to school. I don't want to go to school, And her mother says, no, we're gonna fix this.
Right.
And I covered it up, and she was fine because she couldn't see it anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's an extreme, but it's true. We all look at ourselves, and there's something we don't like. There's something we want to cover, and you want it to look as natural as possible.
Right.
And every situation is different. A killer cover is not good. The formula isn't good for someone who just had plastic surgery,
Right.
unless it's a real bad bruise. But you don't want to you don't want to go like this on the face because they just had surgery. And so there's products that I've developed that are particularly for particular kind of situations that people need and don't like,
Right.
as far as their appearance is concerned. And I feel that if you have things that bother you, take care of it, fix it, get it over with, because you feel so much better.
Well, and I think that my philosophy is if you're doing it for yourself, then it's important. If you're doing it for other people, I think maybe that's the wrong reason. Now, I may be full of crap when it comes to cosmetics, but I'm saying I mean, I look at you and I see an attractive woman and you seem to be, got your stuff together, but when you look in the mirror, you're going to see a completely different person than I see.
Absolutely.
And if that's what you don't like and that's what you're trying to improve, then I'm all for that. But don't do it for me.
Right, exactly.
I mean, unless you're looking to get married or something, No.
Well, no, and you're still doing it for yourself, and
Yeah,
ultimately,
well, that's true.
in that
Okay, you
regard,
win. Yeah, you win.
But yes, I think that looking good is a psychological situation. You want.
If you think you look good,
right.
you're going to feel good.
That's one of our slogans. When you look good, you feel good.
Okay.
And when you feel good, you can face the whole world.
Right. Or was
And
it Billy Crystal said, looking good is better than feeling good? the old Saturday night, you look marvelous.
You look marvelous, darling. You look marvelous. But then on the other hand, something like you look marvelous, darling,
Yeah.
which is, that was the funniest skit in the whole world, which I loved. But, you don't want to take it so far that your whole raison d'etre in life is to look marvelous.
Right.
It just look good,
Right.
feel good, go about your life and don't worry about something that you think is not perfect, because there is no perfect.
Right.
But there's people that have a condition called vitiligo, which is a condition where you don't have pigment in parts of your skin.
Right. I'm familiar with the,
Yeah, so that, a little bit of it is one thing, but I've worked with people who have a lot of it.
My ex-wife has psoriasis, and I mean, she's over the years has gone to doctors and got this and got that and stuff like that. And the current doctor that she's been going to, the dermatologist, is a pretty good guy, and it is, I'd say probably 95% of it is gone, but she still has, you know, little things on her elbow once in a while and stuff like that. And I know that I don't see it as much as she does, and it's not as important to me as it is to her.
Exactly,
And I remember, you know, times when she wouldn't wear shorts, or, you know, wouldn't wear a dress or something because she'd get something on her leg, and it's too bad that she didn't know about this. Is that something that would work in that instance as far as a cover-up, or?
It absolutely will work as a cover-up. In a situation like a psoriasis, I would definitely talk to a doctor first.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
but
before you would put
I don't
any-
think it's a cure. I didn't mean
No,
that.
no.
Right.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, you don't want to irritate it. You don't want to irritate it more.
You're right, you're right.
You know, like vitiligo, you're not going to irritate anything. You're just going to cover up the white spots and match,
Right.
you know, your regular skin color. If you have a bruise, you know, you fall down, whatever, and all of a sudden there it is.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt the skin by covering it up.
Well-
But psoriasis might be a different situation,
Right.
whereas medically, you might want to stay away from anything
Gotcha.
cosmetically. I'm not familiar with that, but I could see where it would be best to ask.
You bring up a good point. I know as I get older, when I bang myself up, and I will get a bruise that, you know, maybe this big from banging my arm, or you know, something like that. And so I can see where this would be a great product for
It
older
is.
women, or, you know,
Right.
I don't know if men so much would care about it, but
Well, men probably don't, and I know one that doesn't care at all about it, and I'm married to him. You know, yeah, I can cover that.
Yeah.
You know, what's the matter with you? Don't you know what I do?
there are no comedians or philosophers at home, right?
Right. Well,
So-
you won't let me.
What is your favorite product of all the products that Judith August Cosmetics has? Do you have one that is like, this is my absolute favorite, I love this more than any of the others, without telling the others, of course?
No, you don't discuss it. I'm just so jealous, I swear. Well, we have a very small line, so, and they're all for different reasons. You know, it says the everything pencils for everything for everybody. You know, you keep it in your purse, you can put it in your pocket, you
Right.
carry it with you, you get a bang, you go, oh, I cover it up. 1, 2, 3, bum, bum, bum. You get a red mark on your face or whatever under eye circle, you touch it up during the day. But our friend Judy
Right?
uses something I call orange masking cream, which I think is a brilliant product, by the way, because when I was growing up in the cosmetic industry, everybody would always put white under their eyes to get rid of darkness. And so they put white on first, then they might put makeup over it, but they still looked white.
Right.
And I just, for years, I mean, I lived in New Orleans for a long time, and I had the first cosmetic boutique there in uptown New Orleans. And there were so many balls and parties, and people, you know, the women would come in and all. And that's when I first said to myself, you know, in the modeling too, we used a flesh color cosmetic that would take away the darkness but
Right.
wouldn't make you look like you were an owl,
Right.
you know. And in those days, nobody had ever heard of that before. You used white. That's what you
And
used.
that blows me away.
I know. Well, you're into the old Hollywood days. You used to live in Hollywood.
And it's like, I mean, isn't that where most of today's makeup and cosmetics came from, was the Hollywood
Oh,
industry?
absolutely, sure. Max
movie industry,
Factor.
Max Factor. And who was the other one? The woman, the big, she was the, yeah, never mind, that was too long ago.
It's before my time.
Yeah, mine too.
But I know when you graduated.
And this is just
But
water.
at any rate,
This is just water, honestly.
Hollywood, you know, Hollywood was the beginning of absolutely, of course, the whole thing. And they did know. I mean, obviously, they didn't use just white on
Right.
camera because that would have been, a disaster.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, and then they did mix all the cosmetics, and they would create the proper tone, the undertones of the colors that would match the woman or the actress's undertone. And this is what I started doing because I studied it a lot. I had very big bags under my eyes when I was a kid. And I started modeling at 16
Wow.
years old. And I had these bags under my eyes. And my parents took me to the leading plastic surgeon in Beverly Hills. That's where I was raised. And he wouldn't do anything. I was 16. And in those days, they wouldn't. And here I had a modeling contract. And I had these bags under my eyes. And, they could have gotten somebody else who looked just like me.
Right.
Who didn't have that, you
Yeah.
know. So as years went on, I studied lighting, I studied cosmetics, I studied all this color, and learned how to cover the bags under my eyes. Because I knew if I didn't, they were going to hire somebody else,
Right.
that they didn't have to worry about the lighting and all that stuff. And I worked for over 15, 20 years, in front of the cameras. So that was very worthwhile. And then, of course, that took me into the cosmetic business
Right.
because I had the background for it, and I really loved it. And I saw the magic, the magic of it.
And it is magic. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, because you are creating something that is the same but different.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember working with a woman once that used the word magic, and she says, and when I say worked with her, I would travel around to various places, and people would sign up, and we would do the makeup on them.
Right.
And she said to me, she said, please don't make me look too good. Don't use your magic, because when I take it off, I feel terrible. That was an
understand that, yeah.
interesting,
Yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
And it was so many years ago. But it can be magical.
Yes.
That's why I have finally, in my older years, would love to do, I wouldn't let anybody see me without makeup in my whole entire life, but I know, except for,
Right.
him, him who will not wear makeup on his bruise.
So that tells us how special he was, or is.
Yes, is, for sure. But I want to now, because women, I don't care if you're 40, you're 50, you're 80, you're whatever, looking good makes you feel better.
Right.
And you don't have, it doesn't have to be a scary thing that when you take it off,
Well, if you'll, hopefully you'll accept this observation, is that I know, or I assume, that you're wearing makeup,
yes.
but you do not look like you've got a lot of makeup on. Do you?
Yeah,
do
and
you
I
understand
don't.
what I'm saying?
Relatively speaking,
Right.
yeah.
And I know that I have, throughout my life, seen women that you go, whoa,
They hit you with their eyelashes.
Yeah, and it's just, to me, it kind of makes me sad that they feel that their whole self-worth is wrapped up in that, and are afraid to let themselves be seen. It's like when I see a woman, an older woman, who has let her hair go gray or go to its natural color. My first thought is, all right, there's a person who is, self-confident. They're comfortable with who they are, and they don't give a damn about anybody else. Unfortunately, there's very few people like that because the rest of the world won't let you be that way.
You're absolutely right.
It's you're judged the
Advertising.
moment you walk in the door. You're judged with how you look because you're a woman, and that's the first thing people see. What does she look like? How does she look? And it's good for you because you've made a business out of that. But I think as a society, we need to learn a little more about So yeah, I'm wearing makeup, but when I come home and take my makeup off,
I don't look like an entirely different
Yeah,
person.
exactly.
I'm still me.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well,
maybe
you
I
know,
shouldn't be
that,
saying things like that to a
no,
person who has a
I,
cosmetic business. but-
no, absolutely. I absolutely agree with you. That's why in my company I've never done color. I decided a long time ago when, you know, I used to give classes and that sort of thing, and before I had my own company. And, you know, you would teach eye makeup and you would teach, you know, the colors that you use and the best colors for this and that. And one woman called me one night at my home and asked me what color blue eyeshadow she should wear with this particular dress to a luncheon. And at the same time, I was working with plastic surgeons, not only, you know, cosmetic surgery,
Right.
but how to cover scars for other kinds of, you know, more serious
Right.
stuff.
Reconstructive.
Exactly,
Right.
yes. And I said to myself, I think I'm more interested in the concealing part of the business
Right.
than just putting, you know, what color blue eyeshadow should I
Right.
wear? That all of a sudden, you know, so you have 4 choices, 5 choices. You've got billions of them out there. Pick one.
Right.
You know, I mean, there are undertones, there are things, but it's certainly not as important as covering up scars that people are
Exactly.
insecure about, and it's not their fault. you
So,
know.
so I'm getting a whole new perspective on your particular cosmetic company, because when you say to me, I'm a guy, and when you say to me cosmetics, that's all I think about is all the, you know, the blue eyeshadow and the little wings on the side of the eyes and the, you know, the purple
Yeah.
lipstick and, you know, all this other stuff. And if I understand what you're saying and what I've seen on your website is you are more interested in a natural, taking what you have and making it look the best it can be without making it look like something else. Does that
Absolutely.
make any sense?
Yes.
Okay.
You're so insightful.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. No, really, that's a wonderful characteristic, because we feel that we help people, and you know, not with all the facade.
Right.
If you do have bruising, if you do have you know, birthmarks that you were born with, a port wine stain, for instance, which is a red discoloration on your
Right.
face, or the vitiligo, that's
Right.
the discoloration. Or, I mean, just as I said before, the philosophy has always been everybody's got something to hide that they don't like. But we never got into color, whereas you do fantasy. That's fun. The fantasy stuff is fun.
So
But it's not the, to me, the basics of what cosmetics can do to make you feel better about yourself.
okay, so you have cosmetics and you have makeup. Is that, I mean, when I think, or at least now after our conversation, when I think of cosmetics now, I think of, like you say, cover-ups or concealers or whatever the hell you call them, or
Well, they're called corrective cosmetics.
corrective cosmetics. I love it.
Yes,
That's
corrective.
great. As
right.
opposed to makeup, that's
That's the color and the fun stuff.
right.
You know.
Okay.
And it certainly can be fun. And believe me, I feel much better when I get dressed and I have my eyeliner on and my mascara on.
Right.
And, you know, the right color blush.
Right.
And, you know, when you do those things, it also, if you know how to do it correctly, you're lifting up your face without faceless.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, you can do things without having to feel that you have to live by the conventional wisdom of social networking, you know,
Yeah.
of peer pressure,
Yes.
of, you know, those things when you said, well, a woman walks into a room, yes, it's refreshing when she walks in and she looks very natural.
Right.
Now, natural doesn't have to mean you look like a schlep.
No, but
You know, yeah.
that's my point, and it's There was an actress that I met some years ago in Palm Springs at a golf tournament, Joanna Pettit. She was on one of those.
Wasn't she married to, oh God, Blanco?
She was on one of the TV series with like
It'll come back to me.
I think it was Michael J. Fox or something, or she played the mom or whatever. I met her in real life on the golf course with absolutely no makeup. She was in the golf tournament. And I was stunned at how beautiful that she looked, better in person without makeup than she did on television with
it,
all that
yeah.
makeup on that she had. And she was just, you know, those women, there's a lot of them out there if they would let themselves be, but they don't know it. Does that make sense?
It absolutely makes sense.
And I'm not trying to talk people out of using makeup.
Oh,
because-
no, listen, and you're not going to.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah,
No chance of that.
That ain't happening. Not in this lifetime.
It's like the third largest industry in the world.
And that is
You know?
that is something else that's a mind blower. That it is the third largest business in the world, and it's like, whoa. So
Yeah, yes. I think it's Sidney Poitier. Was she married to Sidney Poitier, Joanna Pettit? Maybe. I don't know.
no, that was, I know who you're talking about. It wasn't Joanna Pettit.
It's Joanna something.
Yes.
Okay.
But I mean, you know, she would just.
Yeah, but and that again appeals to you also.
Well,
That natural.
Right, I've met a
is-
few women like that you just look at and they have a natural beauty that pops, you
Yeah.
know, and I guess maybe it was because of my experience with photography and stuff that I've almost gotten in trouble sometimes because I look at people and I'm looking at the shape of their face, you know, all of their features, you know, how close their eyes are together, you know, things like that, and how their lips are, and I just look at people, and sometimes if you're sitting there staring at someone and they happen to look up and you know, it kind of creeps people out, so I have to be very careful when I do that. So, especially if I'm with, you know, someone else.
I would think so. Yes.
Yeah,
Restrain yourself.
I was out with a date, and we were in a restaurant, and I'm surprised I didn't get stabbed for this, but the waitress came up, and she was wearing this lipstick that just made her face look like Bozo the Clown. And I made the comment, I said, you know, if you would use a lighter shade of lipstick, you would look a little better.
And she did.
The rest of the night, I mean, was just a nightmare. And I didn't mean it. I mean, I was being sincere, and it was just. But I learned then, it's like, now keep your mouth shut.
Right. Yeah. But.
If you can't say you look awesome, just shut up. So.
But you know, on the other hand, there is a psychological component to that that if she feels that she looks better, if it's not overdone, and as you said, if it's clownish,
and that
it's
was
one
just it.
thing.
It was overdone, and it was
Right.
like
If it's overdone, then
if you walk
she
up to
did-
someone and that's all they see is that lipstick,
exactly.
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just the lips coming at you.
That's exactly what it looked like. Here comes a big pair of lips. You know? It's like the lips from the Rocky Horror Picture Show or something. You know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Anyway,
But makeup is an art, and you know,
there is no doubt
right
about that.
And you know, as I say, my face looks totally different. I believe, in my own mind,
Right.
Without makeup and with makeup. And you know, I'm hoping that, and I thank you for, you know, saying that I don't look like I have that much makeup
Well,
on, because
and-
that's
and
the
you
point.
don't. And
you
it
just
was-
want to look better. That's all
when,
good.
When you walked in,
let's
I
say.
was kind of surprised because I guess I expected to see more makeup, and not just cosmetics. I guess is.
Well, yes, but I never really thought before. I mean, corrective cosmetics is what we call ourselves.
Right.
We are coming out with a lipstick, however.
Well, that's okay.
After 35 years.
It's not
Well,
too red,
we'll
is
have
it?
a little fun. Because we've been asked for it, you
Right.
know, and got a very good concept, I think. But the business is changing tremendously, and sometimes I've seen people send pictures of themselves with, like you said, the eyes and the this and the 14 different colors of eyeshadows and the eyelashes out to here. And I mean, that's not my cup of tea. It's some people's cup of tea.
Right. Well, if you want to
we
get
have
really
to think-
scared, go to YouTube and just type in, you know, like makeup tips or something like that, and see some of the stuff that's there. That's frightening.
Yeah, and you know, if you're young, you know, at a certain age, if you're young and you want to have fun, and fun with it, and
Well,
you know,
but
it's-
that you know what that is. That I think that is an excellent point. Is that if you are trying to create a character or a caricature of yourself, as opposed to making yourself look as good as you can look.
well, there's two different things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
And
it's
it
just,
could be a fine line too.
right.
You know.
Well, it's like I have this hat, and
Yeah.
this is when I'm on camera, I wear the hat. That's my thing. I don't know if it makes me look better or worse or whatever, but it's kind of like it's a character that I've created, I guess.
Right.
Is with the hat on. Because when I take the hat off, you know,
Put the hat back on.
And so just remember, send your cards and letters to John at WWDBTV.com. That's it.
We have a contest. How many of you like him with or without a hat?
Hey, that's a good idea. Okay. All right. So with the hat, without the hat. With the hat, without the hat. You tell me.
All right. You might
So
have
you
a
see
whole
how much
different
fun we
show. Yeah, right. You might have a whole different show before you're through
I'll
with
have to have
this.
two shows. I'll have to have one with
One
the
with
hat
the
and
hat.
one without the hat. And then I can get some concealer. What you had mentioned the lipstick, but do you have anything else? What's in store? What's coming up for Judith August Cosmetics?
Oh dear. Let's
What are you
see.
going to do next?
I don't know. I have a wonderful office manager, assistant, friend who's been working for me for over 17 years now.
Wow.
And she's very creative, and she's creating some really interesting, fun things.
We'll have to get her in
And
here.
yeah, good luck. She loves behind the computer, and you know,
I'll fix
I don't
that.
think. But at any rate, we are coming out with something that I don't even know how readily available it is to the public. It is a theatrical, from the theatrical cosmetic world.
Right.
That you can take any cosmetic, any makeup that you have, and a lot of times if your makeup, stays open, you don't put the cap
Dries
on it,
out.
it dries out.
Right.
So this is a blend of particular oils that you could just put one or two little drops of the oil in, mix it up, and it's right back where it started from.
And it doesn't change the color or anything
No,
like that? Wow,
no,
that's pretty
nothing.
cool.
And you can keep a base, a makeup base that's much heavier. But if you don't want a heavy base, you don't have to buy 3 different types of bases. You can have one, or foundations, I should
Right.
say. You can just have one foundation. And I just want a little bit of makeup today, not much, but I don't want it too heavy. So you put 1-2 drops. You can take a little bit out. You put it on the back of your hand, and then put it on, and you've got a liquid from a cream. So
Yeah.
you can kind of customize your own coverage.
Nice.
So that's kind of fun.
That's exciting.
That's coming out, and I don't know. We've had quite a few fun things over the years. And some people want, some people,
Yeah.
But our mainstays are what keeps us in business.
Gotcha.
And those are the corrective cosmetics. They're the ones that cover and conceal the situations that you're not so happy with.
This is one of the things that I found very interesting about your company is that if you go to your website, it's not just I mean, of course, you're trying to sell your products, but there are a number of videos on there, like how-tos or showing the different products and how they work, and I thought that was pretty smart to do that because if you go online, and a lot of shopping is done online. If you go online for a particular product or whatever, here's the product, that's it. You know, you go to their website and yeah, hey, take this and you'll feel good or whatever. But your product has taken that to another step and say, here's what we have, here's how you use it, here's how it's most effective, and here's what's going to happen if you use it. And I thought I liked that about your website, and whoever put that together and did an excellent job. I commend them for it. So
I'll pass it on.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you.
So-
Thank you. No, you have to show people. You have to show people how things work. You
Well,
can't just
it's-
assume they know.
Right.
And, you know, there's a lot of misinformation out there. You know, it's a different time. Like we were talking before we started filming. You know, I come from the day that I used to go into the store and talk to the beauty buyer or the manager and show them my product, and they would put it in the store. It's totally different today, and
you never get to talk to the decision maker, and I mean marketing and sales, for the most part, is done electronically now, and
a lot of it.
yeah.
Well,
So-
most of it, and it'll probably get more and more.
Right.
And you know, the retail stores are obviously having issues, but it's amazing how creative they become in
Right.
order to try to overcome the problems of the internet. And to them, it's a big problem because people
and-
aren't coming into the stores like they used to.
It's just like anything else. In our lifetime, we've seen a lot of changes in the way things work and the way things are. And we adapt. You either adapt or you die, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my kids tell me with how to work the computer. Mom, you're going to be left behind, Mom.
But if it's not a problem for you, then so what?
It's an emotional problem for me. Thank God for my Carmen, who runs my business, because she is so good at it and so adept and can do anything. And
Right.
as I say, she's 33 or 34
Then you don't
now.
need to.
But you know what? You kind of you talk about makeup, feeling better about yourself. I would love to be able to do more videos. I could put them up myself,
Right.
and show people blah 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 blah. But I don't know how to do that, so it becomes very frustrating.
It is so much easier than you really think it is.
All right. So when do we start? Are you going to teach
anytime
me?
you like. I would love to help you do that. Here's what happens to people. Now, years ago, I can build a computer from scratch.
Wow.
And I did it trial and error. But I mean, I've been in construction, I've been mechanically minded, and so it's a matter of reading the instructions and then doing it. And I burned out a lot of motherboards and chips and all that stuff in the process. But you need to, this is what people forget, I think, when they're working on a computer. They get so hung up on the mechanics of what they're doing and forget what their goal is. In other words, which key do I hit? And you need to kind of change that mindset into a little bit about, I'm creating this, here's the steps, don't get hung up on each individual step. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, but we'll figure it out. I'll show you how to figure that out.
Well, then you would be a blessing in my life.
Well,
because you know, it's a different world. Obviously, it's a different world. I don't have to tell you.
Right.
I don't have to tell you that are watching. And some can adapt to it, and some find it more difficult. And I think it depends on where you know, what year you were born.
That's true. But I've worked with some people from what I call the terrestrial radio and TV industry, you know, what we're used to as television and radio. And this medium, the internet, is foreign to some of them. They don't understand that it takes them a while to understand it. And the best way that I describe what we do is that it's like on demand. So this show, and as all the other shows are on our website and our YouTube channel, soon to be on Roku, that you can go and watch any time you want. You don't have to be sitting in front of your TV or your computer at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday. If you get home at 8 o'clock at night and you want to see this show, you just go to our website, click on the appropriate button, and there we are.
Yeah, it's
and then you can
amazing.
go back and watch it later. Everything
Right.
that I've shot in the last 5 years, I have archived, so I can go back to my first couple of shows if I want, you know, or our viewers if they say, oh wow, I remember John had this woman on there talking about cosmetics, and they can go to the playlist and scroll down through and they, oh, there it is right there, and then they can watch it again. So it's not like, you know, oh my God, I got to work, I'm going to miss my program.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
yes.
so it took some of these people a little bit of time to get that and to understand that, and but once they did, and once
Yeah,
you
it's
do,
very,
it's
very
like,
rapid, though.
Yeah.
I mean, things are changing so
oh
rapidly.
yeah, and it's, listen, there's so much going on out there that it's just gone beyond me. So, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. Well, I mean, in my field, it's wonderful. I wrote a book called Got You Covered, and and it's about corrective cosmetics and you know how you can
right?
do all these things yourself at home. And we purposely put it in a spiral bound
Oh, cool.
so you can stand it up on your counter.
That's a
Because
brilliant idea.
because if you've passed a page and
Right.
there's let me put this lipstick brush down, I don't know how to do this.
Right.
And you know, it's there because it's standing up and,
That's a great
and all
idea.
that stuff. It's but it would even be a better idea if you could go just click on your TV and have somebody showing you, now you do this and then you do
Yeah.
this. But the thing is, when you do that, it's so generic because they're saying it really for everybody. I focused on what we do.
Right.
And if you like what we do or need what we do, you would buy the book. If you're on television, it's a different thing because you
Right.
have to cover a lot of different situations.
Well, and you have with the videos on your website, like I said, I think that you did a great job with that because you do have the different areas and the different things that and not knowing anything about cosmetics and makeup and crap like that, it made sense to me. So if it made sense to me, you guys could figure it out.
Yeah, whoa.
So we're
That's
kind
a
of running out of time,
compliment.
Judith.
Oh, no.
Is there? I know. See what happens? Everybody goes,
know,
oh,
yeah.
I can't talk that long, and then before you know it, we're done.
I know, how fun.
But that's okay. You're not done. We're going to have you back many times. I'm hoping. So.
Thank you.
But is there anything that you'd like to tell the viewers? Anything that that we didn't get a chance to talk about that you want to make sure they know, or like where can we get this stuff?
Oh, you're so coy. Well, just go to JudithAugustCosmetics.com, and there we are. The whole line of products, of course, and the videos to show you how to do them. We have an 800 number. We still answer the telephone. So that's a 1-800-528-4878. JudithAugustCosmetics.com, and then just press any of the products, whatever questions you have. You call that 800 number if you have questions, and
Really?
somebody
That's
will
cool.
help you. And yes, we talk through a lot of things if women don't understand
Nice.
how to use a particular product. But most everything does have a video that goes along with it, so you know you can pretty much follow it along. If you're a book buyer, it's on Amazon, Got You Covered. The Complete Guide to Camouflage Makeup by Judith August.
So is that the only place that they can buy your products is on your website online, or is there any place else they can go? Or
Well, of course, our own website, and we're on Amazon as well.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We're not in department stores. I never wanted to be in department stores, so we're not in department stores. But I mean, we have various retail outlets, smaller places across the country.
Oh, you do? I didn't. I
Yeah,
wasn't aware of that.
some left. I mean, we used to, in the beginning, before the internet, we had lots and lots and lots of stores.
Yeah.
But
Well, brick and
now
mortars
it's
are
brick and
tending to
mortar.
go away.
Yeah, and it seems like, and especially because of the pandemic, everybody's been going to the
Yeah.
internet. So that's probably the best place. If you're in a particular area and you want to know where you can go and see it, we can certainly let you know. If you call the 800 number, 528-4878. So
Nice.
that's my story.
Well, that's your story, and you're sticking
And
to
I'm
it.
sticking to it, right,
Judith,
right.
thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming in today. This is it's an off-the-wall subject for me.
Oh,
that
sure.
More than I'm used to. It's a different thing than I'm used to talking about. But I do know that there are some women that watch the show, so I had to throw something out there for them.
For that.
No, I'm just, we love you all, and you know that. And I'd like to thank everybody again. You have no idea how much we appreciate your support. And, go to Judith's website. You will be blown away. I think that you will be surprised as heck at whoever did it did a great job. And if it made sense to me, then it's going to make sense to a lot of people. So don't forget, this Saturday, 9 a.m., Barnes & Noble's over on Rainbow, just off of Lake Mead. I'll be there doing a book signing.
What? You wrote a book?
No, I just go over there, and if you buy a book from Barnes & Noble's, I sign it for you.
Oh, any book?
Any book.
No, I don't believe that. Really? I don't believe that.
Well, then you have to show up there at 9 a.m.
You're not
on
going to
this
tell what the
Saturday.
book is all about?
No, I haven't written a book. I just sign the books. If you go in there and buy any book in the
you-
store, I'll sit there and sign it for you.
Do they
All right,
give you free
everybody.
coffee, at least? Okay.
Remember, if you're going to do it with styles. Thank you.
Nice work, John.